Of all the stars and moons and planets that shine in the sky, by far the most troublesome is surely this one. This small cloud-covered planet is our Earth, the home of the human race.
Anyone old enough to remember a time when the BBC was a byword for quality must be old enough to remember the Clangers, the story of mice-like creatures that lived on a moon-like planet, which the BBC broadcast between 1969 and 1972, coinciding with the moon landings. Regardless of whether or not the creators intended their series to be a piss-take of Apollo, they really could not have chosen a more appropriate title, and certainly no more so when it comes to Apollo 10. This live TV broadcast opens with a view of the moon through a cabin window. Astronaut Gene Cernan describes the scene.
Okay, the moon and the Earth are the same relative size to us now.
Roger, Gene.
Let me take you over, Bruce, to show you the Earth from Tom's window.
Okay, Houston, Apollo 10. We're looking at the Earth out our left window. We're now approximately 168,000 miles on our return journey to the Earth. And again, relative to the Earth, we're traveling approximately 3,500 miles an hour. As you can see the Earth there, actually it's upside down with the white cap is the North Pole.
A good relative size for both the Earth and the Moon. Tom mentioned one. Another one might be if you took a nickel and held it about 18 inches from your eyeball. That's what the size of the Earth, the diameter of the Earth, and the diameter of the Moon appear to us at the present time.
According to Houston, the spacecraft is around 168,000 miles from Earth and 45,000 miles from the Moon. Those are both nautical miles, by the way, so around 193,000 road miles from Earth and 52,000 from the Moon. The observable width of an object with a radius r at distance d is described in degrees of arc. So at those distances, the Earth is around 2.35 degrees of arc, while the Moon is 2.38. A nickel at 18 inches is around 2.66, and Cernan is almost bang on with his comparison. But the conversation takes a sudden and bizarre twist when Capcom asks for some clarification.
Roger, understand this tennis ball at arm's length?
It doesn't make sense until you hear Stafford on the original NASA audio file.
We're traveling approximately 3,500 miles an hour. At this distance, as Gene has described, the Earth and the Moon look approximately of the same diameter. And as we look at it here, the Earth is growing from, say, slightly smaller than a tennis ball, where it looks about the size of an orange. As you can see the Earth there.
That is a clanger.
Here's a comparison of the Earth at 193,000 miles, the Moon at 52,000 miles, an orange and a nickel at arm's length, and another nickel at 18 inches. You can see why NASA would want the orange comparison removed. It's more than 4 times as large as the Earth. We join Apollo 10 again for another live TV broadcast, this time from 48,000 road miles out, as the spacecraft hurtles towards Earth at 7,500 miles per hour.
This morning, as we look out there, we can see part of China. India is the most predominant feature, but also we can see Saudi Arabia, the Gulf of Oman, and the Indian Ocean.
Tom's going to zoom the TV into the Gulf of Oman. Let's see what you can see there. How does it look down there?
The Gulf of Oman is not apparent to a novice, I guess you might say.
Forget novice. You'd have to be a meteorologist to know where the Gulf of Oman is in this photo. And yes, it is a photo, this one, captured during the mission. You can see where the Gulf of Oman is on this Google Earth image. It's here, almost beyond the horizon. The question is, where exactly is the Apollo 10 command module?
You see that the solar sun point is right in the Gulf of Oman now. It is nearly a yellowish bronze.
And that is another clanger.
The sun is so wide its rays run parallel to the Earth, creating a terminator line where light meets dark. The point at which the rays are directly overhead is called the subsolar point. For this point to be visible, more than half the Earth must be in light. Otherwise, it is out of view beyond the horizon, which it is in the TV broadcast. At the time of the Apollo 10 broadcast, the subsolar point was over Algeria. For an ex-military test pilot and flight instructor like Commander Tom Stafford to make such basic mistakes, it's obvious the crew aren't where they say they are. The confusion comes from having to pretend they are somewhere else. From the title, you could be forgiven for thinking this NASA document to be a post-flight analysis of what the crew of Apollo 10 saw during their mission, until you realise it was published 1 month before the launch. It is in fact a reference manual full of black and white line drawings of the spacecraft, Earth and Moon in various orientations, including the famous Earthrise. Everything is cross-referenced to the ground elapsed time, or GET, with 2 drawings each of the Earth and Moon, one constant to a 40-degree field of view by which sizes can be compared, and another zoomed in so you can see the detail. You can see how confusing it might be if you don't grasp the concept, and the page you're looking at bears no relation to the view through the window.
Man has certainly progressed a long ways in just such a short few years. And how much we're going to progress in the future is left to your imagination.
And that is another clanger.